on this computer, and we will begin. As we had gotten down to, in that video that I sent you last week, we had gotten down to number 12 on page 80 of the workbook. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I lost the video. I'm trying to get the video back. Sorry. Just bear with me. Go ahead. I'm going to figure it out on my end.
Okay. I see you perfectly. I don't know what's going on that end.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to start with tonight is we're going to finish up through lesson 10, if you've got that last video, and going into chapter 11, where we're talking about, now we're going to get to an interesting thing called all the different verb forms, okay? Up till now, we have mainly been dealing with, as we think about it, the first and the second declension and how the words fit together and everything like that. Now, beginning in lesson 11, we're going to start talking about, if you remember, we talked about everything in the verb form so far has been present, active, indicative. Now we're going to get into present, middle, and passive indicative. We're going to get into the imperfect, active, indicative, the imperfect, passive, and middle indicative. We'll then get into the aorist. We'll get into the pluperfect. We'll get into the perfect. Okay, so there's more to it than this, and I want you to understand, not to get discouraged. And I will even give you this. If you wish to, all your classmates need to talk together about this. But if you wish to continue this study even after we're finished, number one, I can't offer you any credit for it. But if you want to keep on studying it just because, then we will continue to go through it. All right? Everybody else has got to vote on this. But I will find time to make it because I'm that passionate about trying to get you done. All right? So that's going to be entirely up to you. I know you have lives. And I know you want to spend time with your family and things like that. But if you want to get even deeper in Greek, then we will. All righty? Before we go any further, let's pray. Chuck, would you lead us, please, brother?
Certainly. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the day that you blessed us with, and we're thankful for the opportunities that came with it. We pray, Lord, that we take our class to heart. We're thankful for Tommy and his willingness to teach the class. And we ask, Lord, that you give us an understanding so that we can better understand your word. We're thankful for the opportunity that we're given to study your word, and we're thankful for the word itself. And we ask that you bless our class as we go through it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Now, as I said in that last video that everybody should have a link to now, that last video I actually covered about an hour and a half. I covered the rest of what we did not cover in lesson 9. I covered all the way up to number 12 in demonstrative pronouns. Okay? So, if you had any questions about any of that, here's the opportunity to ask. If not, we're going to just pick up with number 12 on the demonstrative pronouns, which starts on page 80. Okay? Anybody have any questions? I don't know about you, but I struggle with this sometimes. Even as I'm trying to teach it, I'm trying to say, okay, what is the best way I could teach it? And sometimes as I try to explain it, it seems like it makes no sense to me as I'm trying to explain. So I'm trying to do the best I can as we go through this together. All right, let's take number 12. And I'll go ahead and start with that. Utos gar estin honomos kai ho oi prophetai. Utos gar estin honomos kai oi prophetai. And the sentence reads, for this is the law and the prophets. Okay? For this is the law and the prophets. All right, what is the subject of estin? Well, here in this particular place, it's the word utos. Okay? Utos. All right? As this one, this man, or whatever. What rule of grammar does this appear to break? Well, the rule of grammar is usually if it's going to have if it's going to be the subject, it will have an article in front of it. Utos in this place does not have an article in it. So again, it's one of those things that you have in every language where, okay, here's the rule, but there are exceptions. Every rule has exceptions, okay? And so in this case, the problem with this sentence is again, there's no article with utos. Therefore, and why? Again, it's just making a statement for this. It's not, you can't translate this man or this one because the context is talking about the Bible. So it's not going to be in a what? Now you could argue from the fact that the word Bible comes from the word biblos, but again, that word is not here in this context in this place. So the greater context would tell us it's going to be this. This word is the law and the prophets. This is what it's all about. Okay? And what was he saying in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12? You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Check it out. Who's got a Bible? This is great. We don't bring Bibles to Greek class, right? All right.
Therefore, whatever you want me to do also command. For this is the law and the prophets.
Okay, whatever you want me to, but is that not saying the same thing as you love your neighbor as yourself, right? So in essence, that's what he's saying. Whatever you want men to do to you, you also do to them. For this is the law. This sums up everything the law and the prophets say. Well, again, thinking about it from that viewpoint, you might say that, and look at it also from another viewpoint. Eston never takes a accusative. So it's going to take a compliment. So this, what? This is the law and the prophets. He's saying the same thing that the law and the prophets are is what this is. What? That you treat your neighbors as you would treat yourself. So that's the reason why this sentence in this particular place seems like it breaks a rule of grammar. Okay. What does prophetai have? Why does prophetai have an apparent feminine ending, yet it is used with a masculine definite article hoi? Because it is a masculine noun of the second declension. Boy, you've heard that enough, haven't you? Remember, we've talked a lot about this. Usually, if it is a masculine noun of the second declension, what is it doing? It is a occupation word, a prophet, disciple, something along that line. All right, number 13. Who wants to take this one? Thank you, Misty. Oh, did you raise? Okay. All righty. Go ahead. Misty, go ahead.
Amortenes kai o adelphos su anoige ten odom erenes kai paras pros su.
Okay.
I have, you are sinning, and your brother opens the way of peace and joy for you.
Okay. Or you could simply say you sin. Either way would work fine, but that's right. And your brother opens the way of peace and joy for you. Very good. Pars harmatanes.
Oh, too.
Verb you.
Right.
Is
Harmatano.
Amortano.
Yeah.
Present active indicative, second person singular.
Right.
Lexical form, Amortano.
Right. And the stem is harmartan. There you go.
That's what. That's what.
Harmartan. Okay. All right. And the subject again is inherent in the verb. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Why does the noun odom use a feminine article? I have this feminine noun of the first declension.
It is a feminine noun of the first declension. So like we had those others. You're right.
Is prose translated as for the sake of, at, and near to, toward, with, at, in the same application answer. I chose two based on the context, but I know you said for.
Right. Right. I did say for. I'm looking at it simply from because the second person personal pronoun is genitive singular. So I'm looking at it from more of a viewpoint of for the sake of you, for you. He's teaching the way and joy and peace for you as opposed to you or toward you. He's doing that. So I think, again, the context would bring that ideal out. All right. Anybody get anything else? Any problems? Who wants to take number 14? Okay, Chuck.
I'll do 14, but I didn't get A, B, and C because I was just trying to get the sense. So just bear with me.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see if I can read it. Okay.
Okay.
I have my glasses. Altos anab bene prosto iron ote oti ehe Amartion ente cardia autu.
Okay.
Close enough? Pretty close?
Close, yeah. It's close.
Close. I have it translated, he is going up to the temple because he has sin in his heart.
All right. Did very good except for one little thing. That was first altos. Altos anabane, proston heron. So altos there. It's now going to be used in an intensive sense. So it's he himself goes up to the temple because he has sin in his heart. Okay? So it's he that altos is there. Now, if it was simply he goes up, that would simply be anabane. Okay? But because he uses the personal pronoun altos, he himself goes up to the temple because he has sin in his heart.
I got you.
Okay?
Okay.
Is to heron nominative singular neuter, accusative singular neuter, or accusative singular masculine? Nah. That's a simple, pretty well simple answer. It's going to be accusative singular neuter because number one, the sentence and it is a neuter word, so it's going to be either nominative or accusative. And in this sentence, it's using how? It's used in the accusative case. Right?
Okay.
How is hoti best is translated? Because he doesn't go to the temple that he has sinned, but he goes to the temple because of his sin. Okay? All righty? Is in translated in or by in this sentence?
Let's see. In his heart.
Right. In his heart is the locative case, so it's going to be more in his heart rather than by his heart.
Right.
Right? All right. Who wants to take number 15? Okay. All righty. All right. We'll work through this. All right. We're going to take our time. I know life gets busy. I understand that. Let me go through 15 with you. Ikainos genoske irenain kai karan utos de genoske homation hoti uk akue tain apangalion tu theu. All right, here's good. You would say this one or this man knows peace and joy, but that man or that one knows peace and joy, but this man or this one knows sin because he hears not the promise of God. Okay? Do you need me to say that again slower?
No, I'm just going to rewatch this video.
Huh?
Could you say it one more time?
Okay. That one or that man knows peace and joy, but this one or this man knows sin because he hears not the promise of God. Did I go too fast? Okay. All right. So what is ikainos and hutos in respectively? What use are they respectively, and how should these words be translated? Well, both are nominative, masculine, singular. Both are used as substantives, which means it's translated as that man or this one or that one, respectively. All right. How does uk affect ukue? It negates ukue. It says he hears not. Okay. And locate theu. It is a noun, genitive, masculine, singular. Theos, and again here in this function it's kind of being used as an adjective. Okay. Defining whose promise is spoken. Whose promise is spoken is the promise of God. You could translate that, he hears not God's promise. Right? So it's kind of being used as an adjective in this case to talk about that specific promise. All righty? Number 16. O Christos kephale tes ecclesias. And all of us ought to get this one. How you put it?
Christ is the head of the church.
Christ is the head of the church. All right. Now, all right, let's go on the next page. What is the verb? Well, it's not there, is it? It's not there, is it? Nope. It's not there. There's no verb in that little sentence right there. Greek, here's the thing. Greek differs from English in that the verb to be does not have to be included in a sentence if it is understood from the context. Okay? So, and that goes back to chapter 9, number 4. Greek does not have to put the verb in there. But if it does put the verb in there, it's kind of like emphasis again. What is the function of kephale in this sentence? It's an adjective. What is the significance of this function? It's used in the nominative case describing Christ or acting as a complement in doing the same thing. And again, because it's a to be word, or it's the verb to be is understood, then in this particular state, Christ is head of the church. Christ is, you can say, here's the head of the church. Who is it? Christ. Christ is the head of the church. So they're both saying the same thing. And again, it's used only in that nominative sense in that respect.
Tommy?
Ready? Where was I? Yes? Any questions?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. In the textbook, it is spelt with a PH, but in the workbook, it's spelt with a TH. Which one is?
All right.
That's
Now,
what threw me.
The sentence itself?
The word head.
Kephale?
Kephale.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You caught that. Okay. It's kephale. It's not kephale. It's kephale. So the workbook is wrong.
Okay. So that the book's
Did I
right.
throw anybody? I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that. All righty. Good
Okay,
job.
thank you,
Good job, Justin. Good job.
It just threw me. I thank you, sir.
All right. No, thank you. Okay. I've read that sentence 15 times and didn't catch that. Okay. So it was a mistake in the book. Number 17. Justin, you want to take it?
Yes, sir. I'll give it a try.
That's all I'm asking, brother. That's all I'm asking.
17, I had a lot of issue with. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
I real bad wanted to look it up, but I tried not to.
All right.
And hoisey, gar, ek,
Ergon.
nomon,
No moo.
nomu, essen, upo, kataran, essen.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Asen. I'm sorry, Asen.
That's all right. Right. So.
I put for as many as under the law or under a under a curse.
Okay.
But I don't think that's right.
You got the idea from Galatians 3, but here's the way I actually wrote it, and then I made it sound better in sentence, or in English, I'm sorry. For as much as out of works of law they are under a curse. So in the way they put it in Galatians 3, for as much as they are out of works of law. In other words, because they are doing everything out of the works of the law, then they're what? They're under the curse. And that's the point he's trying to make. So again, whenever I translate the sentence, sometimes I'll write it down underneath the word. Okay, this is it. And then if it's struggling to make sense to me, then I try to put the words together in the way they should be and try to go at it from English in that respect. So the point that Paul is making there is these people are trying out of the works of the law to do what? To be saved, but they are what? Because they're doing it out of the works of the law, they're under a curse as opposed to being saved in Christ Jesus. All right?
Hey, Tommy, real quick, could you say, did you put for as much as they are under the works of law or under works of law?
Out of works of law, not the works of law, because there's no argument there.
Okay.
I just said it quickly because that's what we read a lot of times. We think about works of law, right? We think about the works of law, but
Right.
in this particular place, there's no the here, so it's
Okay.
out of works of law.
I didn't think you did, but I want to make sure. Okay.
That's good, and I'm glad you caught me on that. Okay, locate Hosoi.
I didn't do that part. I did B, but I didn't do that part.
Okay.
That's where I'm really struggling a lot is locating stuff.
All right, and again, this is part of what it's all about. I have it's a nominative, adjectives, nominative, singular, masculine from hosos, Jose, hoson, and what is Jose, Jose, hoson? Out of for as much or okay, as much as that's what you're talking about. That's an adjective. That's much as. What are they out of? Out of law. Okay. Hosos, Jose, hoson. All right. All right. Why is ek spelled X in this sentence?
I put because of the smooth breathing following it. It changed.
Okay, that's part of it. But also it's usually a big part of it is because, and you're right, because of the way the sound of the euphony of the sentence goes, but it's also because it's followed by a word that begins with a vowel. So the thing is going to transfer, it's going to change as a result of that. Okay? Number 18. Any questions, Misty?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
I just have to reread it 3 times.
There you go. I understand that. You know, and listen, again, I don't go into the Greek. I go into it enough smattering to where I kind of figure it out when I'm reading out of the Greek textbook. But you do not know how I get all my Greek books out. And I've got 20 of them on my desk at the same time. Okay. Looking up stuff. So just understand that. Let me give you, and this would be a book that is good. I've been meaning to tell you about it. But this is a good book. It's not that expensive. But what you want to buy is an analytical lexicon of the Greek New Testament. You can find that book. What it does is it takes, you see a word in a Bible passage. You're reading out of the Greek New Testament, you're getting it, but you see a word you just don't recognize. And again, as we start going through these verbs and we start adding these augments and all this other stuff before it's over with, you're not even going to recognize what the verb looked like. So look it up in this analytical lexicon of the Greek New Testament. Usually it will tell you what word it comes from, and it will tell you it's like if it's a verb, it will tell you if it's passive middle, aorist. It will tell you everything you need to know about that verb. So if you have a good idea of what the verb is doing or what that particular form of the verb is doing, use it. Okay, this is a go-to book. All right. Analytical lexicon of the Greek New Testament. And at the end of class, I might spend a little bit of time trying to find it on Amazon to see how much it costs. All right. This is an absolutely great book, and this is a book I strongly encourage you to get. Okay. All right. All right. All right, next one. Let's see, where were we?
18.
Okay, 18.
Number 18.
Number 18. All right. You want to take this one, Misty?
Sure.
Thank you.
Balento, alto, epi, to lifted.
Right.
He throws his clothing on his son.
Okay, or upon the rock. Either way, it'd be fine. That's right. What is the subject of ballet? And
because of the ending.
That's right.
I just lost the name of the letter. Something iota.
Epsilon iota. That's okay. That's all right. Whenever I was doing the video last week, I was sitting there thinking, you know, you probably caught that after a while. And after an hour and a half of that, it was like, I got to stop. I'm not making any sense to anybody right now. And that's why I was going to try to pick back up from there. But anyway. All right. What is the function of hemation in the sentence?
I have direct doctrine.
That's right. That's right. In what case is lithu?
Genitive.
Mm-hmm.
Description of the where.
Right. Right. That's it. So it's genitive. And again, it's mainly the object of the preposition epi, which means what? Upon the rock. All right. All right. Number 19. Another Bible passage. Kai alte estin he agape, hina peripatomen. Okay? Peripatomen kata tas intalos autu. All righty. And this is love, that we might walk according to his or the commandments of him. All right? So this is it. And this is love, that we might walk according to his commandments. Okay? By the way, some of the simplest Greek in the New Testament will be found in the book of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and also the book of John. Also, some of the Greek that will cause you to tear your hair out is in Revelation, his other book. Okay? So just thought I'd let you know, all right? All right, here we go. Now, I want to notice here, again, look at the word alte and the word halte. You see, they're spelled alike, but what's the difference? Number one, the breathing, the accent. Here it's the breathing and the accent. You've got to constantly keep your eye out for both of those because, again, alte is a personal pronoun, feminine, nominative, singular. And halte is feminine, nominative, singular of the near demonstrative pronoun with a rough breathing. The difference is the breathing and the accent. Okay? They're spelled exactly the same. And I mentioned this, I think, last week, but I want to emphasize that to you again because sometimes that does throw you. Why must the verb be present, of being be present in the phrase alte estin he agape? Again, the use of the demonstrative with nouns of similar meaning would be in the predicate position, but be used attributively. So to keep that from happening, here the verb is being used. Now let me go through that again. The use of the demonstrative with the nouns of similar meaning would be in the predicate position, but be used attributively, all right? So to keep that from happening, the verb of being is used here. Did that make sense? Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Did it?
Can I tell you my answer? And
Tell me your answer.
If it makes sense or not.
Okay, tell me.
I have, because the predicate construction does not translate this is. It would translate, it would be this love instead of this is, if they did not.
Okay, and that works too. That works too. Okay. All right. Notice hina is a subordinating conjunction that introduces a what? Dependent clause. In order that. This is love that we might, or in order that we might walk according to the commandment, his commandments. Dissect and parse peripateo, peripatomen. It is a verb present first, present active subjunctive. Now, what did we say was a subjunctive? In a subjunctive mood declares a wish or a will, all right? Lexical form is peripateo. And again, sometimes you have this contraction of words. When you've got two vowels together, a lot of times they contract and just form one vowel. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on, all righty? So you have more things to look forward to, right? All right. Number 20. Hugar este, hupo nomon Allah, hupo karim. For you are not under law, but where? Under grace. For you are not under law, but under grace. Why is the negative particle spelled u rather than uk? Again, the uk is going to be found for what reason? Let's go back to 9:1. Yeah, in the vocabulary, it's oo, which means not, but it's ook before a smooth breathing, ooks before a rough breathing. So again, it's simply oo here, and there's the next one is a very smooth breathing, so that's the reason why. All right. Also, gar is postpositive. It does not begin with either a smooth or a rough breathing, so oo negates the verb of the being este. And again, here it is, este, for you are not under law. Why is gar the second word in the clause? It's a postpositive conjunction. And locate karin. Again, this is a noun, accusative singular, feminine form of charis, which is what? Grace. Okay, there's chapter 10. Chapter 11. All right, now, as I've been saying all along, and this is what we kind of come to grips with, now we're getting to the verbs, and we're going to talk about more and more about the verbs. Let me continue to encourage you to study the vocabulary only because I have to, not because I want to. I have to give it a vocabulary test for grades, okay? So let me continue to encourage you to study this, stay on top of the vocabulary. All right? We're coming up to the middle of the quarter. We're already about midterm already. So I'm going to have to start giving you another course or another test here before long. And all of these words through chapter 11 are going to have to be known, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, let's say the vocabulary. 11:1, apokrinomai.
Apokrinomai.
Apokrinomai. Now, you'll look at that and say it's a deponent or a defective verb. We'll talk about that in just a minute, all right? In a deponent or defective verb, it's only going to be found in the middle of the passive case or passive indicative, all right? Arco means I rule. Arkomai means I begin. Arco, I rule.
Arco.
Arco, I rule. Arkomai, I begin.
Arkomai.
Arkomai, all right? Balo, I throw.
Balo.
I throw. That ought to be easy. You throw a ball. Balo. Throw a ball. Okay, I throw. Balo, all right? Genomai.
Genomai.
Genomai. I become. Decomai.
Decomai.
Decomai. I receive. Eremos.
Eremos.
A desert, a desolate place. All right. Then you have the word erkomai.
Erkomai.
Erkomai. Now notice all these prepositions that are added to this word. Okay. Mm-hmm. Erkomai means I come or go. Aperkomai means I go away. Erkomai means I go through. Ace erkomai means I go into. Pros erkomai, I come or go to. Ex erkomai means I go out of. And soon erkomai is I come together or go together with. Now, every one of those starts off with a little preposition. Apo, di, ace, ex, pro, and soon. Okay? So you see the erkomai behind all of it, but every one of those are with a preposition. And notice also as you go through here that some of this contracts. It's not apoerkomai, it's aperkomai. You drop the omicron. It's not dierkomai, it's dierkomai. Exerkomai, notice again, ex, ek, and ex, it changes because of that. Proserkomai, sunerkomai. Cardia.
Cardia.
Cardia, heart. And again, if you're working the medical profession, it's cardiologist, the cardiac care unit. That's where they get the word, cardia. All right? Keruso. Keruso. I proclaim or I preach. Uranus.
Uranus.
Heaven. Uranus. Heaven. Now think about in the heavens, in the planets, there's a planet called Uranus. Okay? So this is where this planet gets its name from. And again, it suggests in the heavens. Uranus. Okay? Uranus. I didn't say that right. Uranus. Okay. Poruomai. Poruomai.
Peruomai.
Peruomai. I go. Sozo. Sozo, I say. And phone, voice. All right. English has the active and the passive voices. The active voice is when you're actually doing something. The passive voice is when something is being done to you. Okay? That's the simplest way to do it. In Greek, these voices are the same as English. Again, the subject is performing the action like the church sees the messenger. He ecclesia blepe ton angelon, and passive. The subject is being acted upon by another messenger or another agent. The messenger is being seen by the church. Well, here's how that you translate this. Ho angelos blepetai, hupo tes ecclesias. So blepo means I see. So now we're going to see that all these verbs are going to have some other endings. All right. Greek also employs a third voice, which English must express with reflexive pronouns like he himself, she herself, it itself. Okay. And so the middle voice, okay, is like the messenger sees himself. And this is what it means, huangelos blepetai. Okay?
Oh.
This voice depicts the subject as participating in the action, either directly or indirectly, and yet the action is also upon the subject itself. So the form of the middle and passive are the same in the present tense. In context of the sentence, it indicates whether the form should be translated middle or passive. The middle and passive voices of the present tense are constructed much the same way as we've been doing. So you have luo, lues, lue, lumen, luete, luisi. Now you do the same thing. Like luomai, I am loosing myself. Listen, that is present middle indicative. Lue, you are loosing yourself. Luatai, he, she, or it is loosing himself, herself, or itself, whatever it is. All right. Luomatha, say that one. Luomatha, we are loosing ourselves. Lueste, you are loosing yourselves. And luontai, they are loosing themselves. And in the infinitive is luestai, to be loosing oneself. And then the present passive indicative. You have the very same endings, only this time it's different. Luomai, I am being loosed. In other words, I'm not doing it myself. Somebody's doing it for me. All right? You are being loosed. He, she, or it is being loosed. And again, every one of those words are the same. Now, how are you going to tell the difference? Context. Context, context, context. Okay? The function of the middle voice. Through the middle voice has many shades of meaning. The following uses are important. The direct middle is the reflexive, is nearest to the basic idea. Now, what do I mean by the reflective? It's acting upon itself in some way. All right? It refers to the result of the action directly to the agent. So, ho anthropos egeratai, the man is raising himself up. Well, obviously, he's not dead then. Well, he's not dead, so somebody else, if he's dead, somebody else would be doing it, right? But what? He is raising himself up. The reciprocal is similar, except in this usage, a plural subject engages in an interchange of action. So you have oi anthropoi didaskonta, which means the men are teaching one another. The men are teaching didaskonta, one another. All right, so it's still working with one another there, but it's a reciprocal thing. So it's like me. As I'm teaching you, I'm learning. And hopefully as you're doing this, you're learning, because many of you have helped me through this as well. Now, that's the direct middle. The indirect middle, here the subject is acting with reference to itself in behalf of it, or in behalf of itself. So lambanatai dora, she is taking gifts for herself. That little phrase, lambanatai dora, to get it right, you'd have to say she is taking gifts for herself. Okay? Or it could be he is taking the gifts. How would you make the difference? Context, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Questions, comments?
Mm-hmm.
Anything? Ma'am? No questions? Okay. You sure?
And I'd say a comment that wasn't related.
Oh, okay. All right. In the intensive middle, The stress is on the agent producing the action rather than participating in it. The word self may be used to show the strong involvement of the subject in the action. So you have didaskatai tain aletheon. He is teaching the truth. Well, that's true, but again, you have to put in the emphasis. He himself is teaching. So it suggests what? He and only he is teaching the truth. So that's important. Now you have the defective middle. Some verbs are defective. Or whenever I was taught this years ago, we call them deponent. We never did call them defective. We call them deponent. They appear in the middle form but are active in function. Now the reason they were called defective is because a lot of these verbs did not have an active form. They were always found in the middle or the passive, in the middle of the passive way. So all these words that we talked about earlier, apokrinomai, answer, ginomai, dekomai, erkomai, with aperkomai, aserkomai, exerkomai, and all of those are deponent. All of those, in essence, really, some of them did not have an active voice, but you translate it as an active voice, even though it's got this ending that looks like it's what? That looks like it's middle or passive. Okay? So that's going to throw you a little bit. And again, think about this. Many of these verbs are intransitive. Now, what does that word intransitive mean? I looked it up. Here it is. An intransitive verb does not receive a direct object. An intransitive verb does not receive a direct object. So here are some sentences that have this. He ran. Well, that's a sentence in and of by itself, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But as we're looking at it, it looks like he's in the active voice, right? But really it's an intransitive verb. They napped. After he ran, they napped. Okay? The dog barked. Blair gloated. Clarissa winked. Okay? All of those are intransitive verbs because they have no direct object. Now, transitive verb transfers their action. And this was, I looked it up on the internet. There is if you're struggling with this sometimes, there's a place on the internet called Grammar Girl. Grammar Girl. So if you really are struggling with English a little bit, go to Grammar Girl, okay? Just type in Google Grammar Girl, and she brings up this. Transitive verbs transfer their action. So they designated a hitter. Now there, it transfers, the word designated, it transfers it to that direct object. The clock struck 1. Where's the verb? Struck. Well, what did it do? It struck 1. So it transfers its action to something else. I want candy. That's a transitive verb. I want is a transitive verb. Okay. I could say, again, it could be an intransitive verb. Now think about it. It could be an intransitive verb if I just simply say I want without saying what I want. Right? If it shows a direct object, if it transfers their action, then it is a transitive verb. Okay? Does that help? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So, when you think about this, many of these verbs are intransitive and not action verbs, thus they do not need an active voice. An example is the verb erkomai. Defective, let's call them deponent verbs, appear in the vocabulary in the middle or passive forms. Sometimes defective verbs use the passive form, but it will be the same as the middle in the present tense. The function of the passive voice, again, 4 distinct uses. When the original or direct agent produces the action on the subject, the usual construction is the preposition hupo with the ablative case. So you have didaskatai hupo tu angelou. She is being taught by the messenger. Agency, and I put a star by this, I underlined this. If you got I did this in my book. Agency is expressed more frequently by hupo in the New Testament by all the other methods combined. So when you see hupo in the New Testament by itself, okay, don't always think this, but most of the time, 90% of the time, it's going to be what? An agency here, okay? He's acting in means of that. A direct agent is acting or producing the action on the subject. Where there is an intermediate agent, then you have dia with the ablative case. All right? For an example, panta di autu egenito. All things through him were made. Or we translate this, all things were made through him. Now notice the all things, we know that. The autou egeneto. Egeneto were made. All things were made by him. Here the word Christ is the intermediate action of creation. God is the original agent. Now, I don't know how many of us really grasp that point. When we say God created the heavens and the earth, yeah, Genesis 1:1. But in John 1:3, and again in Colossians chapter 1, it says that Jesus created the earth. Contradiction? No.
Yeah.
God did it through the agent of Christ. Christ actually created the earth. But because Jesus was his agent, then we could say, rightly so, that God created the earth, right? Are you getting what I'm saying? You understand what I mean by agent? If I go down to an attorney's office, I'm hiring that attorney to be my agent. So whatever the attorney is encouraging me to do, then that's what I do. So if I tell the attorney I need a will drawn up, then I'm giving him the details of my will. I'm also giving him the, and he's supposed to do it in all the legalese that they always have to come up with, right? And by doing that, I could say, I made a will the other day. Well, I didn't do it. The attorney is actually one who did it, but what? I did it because I commissioned him as my agent to do it. By the way, if you don't have a will, get one. I heard a sad story this week. There was a guy that died, passed away unexpectedly. He did not make a will. He had a business, and his wife cannot touch any of the money now. The bank put a freeze on every bit of it. She can't pay his employees. She can't pay her bills. She can't pay nothing because he was the only one on that checkbook, and she can't touch it. Why? No will. Get a will made. All right. All right. Little thing there. All right. I'm telling you, it's something to think about. All right. When the agent is impersonal, the usual construction is the instrumental case, either with or without the preposition in. So you have the example, oi anthropoi sozontai in to logo, or to logo, to messiu. The men are being saved by what means? By the word of the Messiah. And sometimes the passive is used with no agent express. So you see the word egeratai. Egero, I raised up. Egeratai, he is being raised up. And again, nothing else needs to be said beside that. All right. And finally, on page 11 or page 52, the cases are for objects of verbs. Some verbs take their objects in a case other than the accusative. Representatives of this group are akuo, apokrinomai, arko, and pistuo. Akuo may take its object in the genitive or the accusative. Why? Akuo means I what? I hear. Mm-hmm. Usually I'm going to be telling what I hear. All right? So it's going to need to be in the genitive or the accusative case. All right? So, or another way he says, I have heard of that in contrast to I heard that. The verb arko means I rule in the active voice and takes the genitive case. But in the middle voice, arkomai means I begin and is often followed by an infinitive. I begin to do something. The verb apokrinomai takes its object in the dative case. It's kind of the same idea. Now, what is apokrinomai? I answer. Apokrinomai means I answer. So sometimes in the English, we use the verb reply. I replied this way. In proper English, one would say, I am replying to this letter rather than I am replying this letter. And then finally, the verb pistuo usually takes its object in the dative case. So as you go through here, underline that, look out for akuo, apokrinomai, arko, and pistuo, because the object of these verbs may be in a case other than the accusative. That's the point that he's trying to bring out here. Okay? Arkomai blepain. I am beginning to see. I am beginning to see. Apokrinomai toisen tekros. I am answering the children. Okay. Epistuesen de Abram to Theo. Abraham believed God. Abraham believed God. Okay. Notice the epistuesen is to Theo, and it's taking what case there? The dative case. Okay. So when you're going through these exercises, look for that. What I will try to do again, if you wish to, is I will try this next week to go ahead and go through all of these. If you want to work on this, and then we can come in next week, and I'm going to try to start doing this a little bit more. I will try to send you an extra video a week where I actually go through the sentences and deal with that, so we can continue to go even a little bit faster through some of this stuff. Otherwise, we're not going to be where we need to be. All righty? And what my plan is for the rest of the time is I'm going to spend a lot of time talking more about what these verbs do and everything, as opposed to spending quite as much time on the sentences. But by doing this extra video, then we're still getting the answers in the sentences. Okay? Anytime you have a question, email me, call me. You've got that. This book, An Analytical Lexicon of the Greek New Testament. Let me see if I can find that for you on Amazon. It will be very well worth the money. Hold on just a second. I don't lose my mouse this time. Okay, Amazon.com. And you can get them used there. All right. Okay. You can get them $12.50 paperback. Let me see if I can find the one I'm looking at.
I think I have the mouse one.
The Moots?
Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And if you've got that, that will help you out tremendously. Moots or William Moots is very good. Hardcover of that is $41. Okay. But there are others out there. I think I've got the Moots one as well. I think there's also Maurice Robertson, but anything William Moots does with regards to that is absolutely fantastic. So look for that one. I'm trying to find my picture of mine, but they've obviously changed the thing. But yeah, you can start that on Amazon. You can get them for as low as oh, okay. All right. You can probably get them as low as $7, $8, all the way up to ever how much you want to spend. This would be well worth your money. Okay. All righty. Questions or comments, thoughts, ideas, anything?
No.
All right. Be looking for my video, and we will go from there. Okay. And I did send you the link to all the videos, so if you keep that, you'll have that as well. All righty? And this video, okay, go ahead.
I did get that link, so.
Good, good. So that you'll have every video that I've done for the last 2 classes in Greek. Anything else I can do to help me, let me know, okay?
Good.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you.
Thanks, Tommy.